Hey guys, Megan here at Beautiful by Megan Horst, and today we're going to go over a very common question. How do I know what to schedule? Okay, first things first. The question that you need to ask yourself is, do I want my hair lighter, darker, multi-dimensional, or kind of the same level of lightness and darkness, but maybe a little more richness and shine? Once you determine what your hair goal is, then you need to ask yourself, do I have gray? And if so, do you want to see your gray completely gone and covered? Or do you mind seeing a little bit of your gray in between and just blending it? If you want your hair lighter, you have three options. You could do permanent hair color with highlights, or just highlights. They all have different perks to them, and downfalls, I guess you could say. So if you just get highlights, then you're still gonna see your natural in between, so it won't cover all of your gray, but you can blend a lot of your gray with just highlights. If you get color with highlights, that's gonna give you the option of covering all of your gray and having that multi-dimensional look of having highlights on top of the color. And if you don't mind seeing just kind of one color, you could use just a permanent hair color, and that would get rid of your gray and make your hair lighter. What if you want your hair darker? So if you want your hair darker, you have some options too. Your options are permanent hair color, which will cover all gray, or you can decide, hey, I don't mind seeing a little bit of my gray. I might just want to do some lowlights and blend the gray and still get that dimensional look. So in that case, you would just do lowlights. Or you could decide, I don't mind seeing a little bit of the gray and I don't want to commit to a permanent hair color, so I want to do what is called a not permanent hair color, or in the hair industry, we call it a demi-permanent hair color, which is just going to add lots of shine, and you can choose any shade you want of richness, and that's going to last probably around 6 weeks. So say you like your hair and you don't want to go lighter and you don't want to go darker, but you would like to add some richness to it or shine. In that case, you can use the non-permanent hair color, which is also, again, the demi-permanent, and that is going to add lots of shine, close the cuticle of your hair. It can even help with frizz. So that's also an option, and that will last you about 6 weeks. Okay, so you've decided what your color needs are and what your goals are. Now you can decide on what type of highlights you want if that's the route you're gonna take. Your options are foil. Some stylists also like to use saran and paper instead of foil. The other option is balayage, which is hand painting highlights, kind of like laying the hair right on top. And then the other option is foliage, and I'll go over what each of these do and what the perks are to them. Foil highlights are great. They've been around for a long time, and you can get the hair very light in a controlled method. The only problem with foil highlights is you will see a line of demarcation if you're just doing highlights alone and not blending it with any kind of color. So you will have to commit to having a regular appointment, like every 6, 8, 12 weeks, so that you can get rid of that line of demarcation. Balayage is something that I love and I specialize in, and it gives that beautiful sun-kissed look like you see on kids that have just been to the beach and the sun naturally lightened their hair. It's so gorgeous, but the only time I don't recommend getting balayage is if you want your hair to have really light highlights and you are also getting hair color, because sometimes when you paint balayage highlights over top of hair color, it gets stuck at a very warm, like goldeny or caramel color, and in that instance, I wouldn't, if you want them very light, I wouldn't recommend doing balayage over hair color. But if you just want highlights and you're not getting hair color, I say balayage all the way. It's so beautiful, and it has, like I said, a beautiful grow out, and you don't have to be married to a regular schedule, like every 6 to 8, weeks. It'll just grow out so nice. So the last option I'm going to talk about is foliage. Foliage is a combination of the balayage look using foils, and this is a great option if you are getting highlights over top of hair color, and you want that soft grow out, but you want your hair very light, the highlights very light. like I said before with the balayage, you get stuck at that really warm shade if you go over top of hair color, but with the foliage, it's more controlled, so you can get those really light pieces if you want. And it's just a great option if you don't want to have that line of demarcation. So yeah, go for foliage if you're going over top of hair color and you want to have a nice soft grow out. To gloss or not to gloss? I say gloss. All of my services include the cost of a gloss because what the gloss does is it seals the cuticle of the hair after you've gotten highlights or color, and it really adds high shine. And 9 times out of 10, if you're getting highlights, they don't lighten to the most beautiful shade that you want them to. You're gonna have to gloss it and include the tone in the gloss that you want to cancel out the unwanted colors like yellow or orange. So say you get highlights and you want this really beautiful champagne blonde, your highlights 9 times out of 10 are not gonna lighten to this beautiful champagne blonde. You're gonna have to gloss it. So I say gloss all the way. That's it. It's really not that difficult, but I do hope that you feel a little bit more guided and informed on what you might want to schedule. Guess what? If you don't know, just ask your hairstylist. That's what we're here for. We want to help, and we know it's not your job to know what's best for your hair. It's ours. So ask us. Thank you so much for watching. If you found this video to be helpful, please head on over to beautifulbymeganhorst.com and subscribe to my email list. You'll get a bi-weekly email from me with my latest videos and tips, tricks, and promotions that only the insiders get. Thanks so much, guys. See ya!